you want to get more consistent about the things that you say you want to do, then stop shoulding yourself. Because that word should, maybe you can already think of it as a word that's not actually really so helpful for you in your life. But why is that? Why is that? Let's get to the roots. Let's go deeper into what this word is about. So, in the etymology of the word should, etymology is the study of the roots of the word, like where it came from, its origins and language. And the word should comes from German. And in German, it has this really specific meaning of debt or guilt or blame. And the fact that we use that word in English the way that we do without consciously recognizing that there's this sense when we say, oh, I should do this, that it's like putting a debt on ourselves. It's like blaming ourselves. It's like putting this guilt on ourselves for not doing what we say we are going to do. So, what do you do with that? Aside from thinking, all right, I shouldn't say the word should. Oh, and see, I just did. I just said I shouldn't say the word should. Let's switch that. I don't want to say the word should because I want to focus on what I want, not what I feel guilty about. That creates such a shift in how we think about things, how we talk about things. So, how to talk about things instead of using the word should. So, should, like we said, it's connected to this sense of the past, of debt. Debt is very connected to the past. But what we want to do is connect with our future. Instead of feeling burdened by the past, we want to connect to what we want for our future. So instead of saying, oh, I should do yoga, you could say, I get to do yoga. I get to connect with this powerful practice to go deeper in my mind and body. That could be more enjoyable. What about something that maybe you don't actually feel as excited about doing? Well, you could still use that framework of get to. Like you could say, instead of, oh, I should wash the dishes, you could say, I get to wash the dishes. I get to prepare for more wonderful food that I get to eat. Isn't that wonderful? Instead of feeling burdened by the debt of the old dirty dishes, bringing in excitement for what's coming. And it's not that you have to get so psyched about washing the dishes, but just changing that energy a little bit can have such a big impact. And especially with the stuff that in theory you are more excited about doing, like your creative projects. How often do you say, oh, I should work on that? But when you say it like that, you are putting yourself in this kind of debt to the project. And that really just, crushes the joy right out of doing something. So instead of saying, oh, I should work on that creative project, and say, I want to make space for that because it's important to me. So making those little shifts can be so, so huge. Oh, and hey, by the way, I'm Joelle, and I like to talk with people like you who want to do more of the things that they want to do. And I help you make that actually happen. So how do we do that? Okay, we talked about your mindset around this idea of should and things that we want to be more consistent with, that sometimes we can put it on ourselves that we should be doing those things. So we're going to reframe those two, that we get to do those things, which just has such a nicer feeling to it. But aside from the mental work, there's also practical stuff that you can do to support yourself, to do more of what you actually want. Like how to make it easier for you to do those things. How can you reduce the resistance between you not doing that thing and you doing the thing? Let's say, for example, one that I do is I will cook up a bunch of brown rice and vegetables on the weekend so that I just have that ready for the week. So that is the easiest thing for me to pick out to eat. And by doing that, it makes it so much easier for me to be consistent with eating nutritious food. Versus if I don't do that, then I'm just going to grab whatever's easiest. So if I make the easiest thing the thing that I say I want, then it's so much more likely to actually happen. Versus if I have to like start from scratch, chopping the vegetables and cooking the rice and doing all of that, then oh my gosh, good luck. Then it is so much less likely to happen than if it's just right there and just easy for me to have that. So think about that for you. What's something that you say you want to do? Let's go back to the creative project example. Well, maybe you've been saying you want to work on this creative project, but you have all of the supplies tucked away in the back corner of your closet, like buried under some old clothes. Well, if that's where stuff is, then it's going to be so much harder to get to the stuff. So what can you do? Make it easier for yourself. Reduce that resistance of having to dig through the closet to find your supplies. Get the supplies out. Put them out where you can see them. Put them out where you're just not going to miss them, so that it's easier for you to just get into it. And if there's some sort of setup involved, do that. Do that so that it's just so much more streamlined, so much more seamless for you to just start doing that thing. So, as we're talking about consistency, something that you want to do is increase the ease of you actually doing that thing that you say you want to do. If it's going for a walk in the morning, get your clothes out, get your walking shoes out just by the door, ready to go, so that you don't even have to think about what you're going to wear out on that walk. You're just going, it's just happening. There are so many different things that you can do to set yourself up so that it's just a little bit easier. And that's part of how you can make it easier to be consistent. Okay, the opposite also works. If you want to be less consistent with something, let's say scrolling on social media, make it harder. Build in more resistance between you and doing that thing. So delete the app off your phone. I deleted the Instagram app off my phone and I just go onto it through the browser like Instagram.com. And it blows my mind how much less I want to go on Instagram when it's just there's that extra hurdle and the navigation isn't as streamlined. So it doesn't hook me in as much. So just building in that little extra resistance makes it so much easier for me to stay away from that. It's amazing. So you can use that for yourself or think about what else you can do to increase resistance, to make it like a little bit more effort for you to do the thing that you want to do less. Now I want to talk about commitment as recommitment, because When we talk about consistency, I think part of what makes it so tricky is that consistency is really about commitment. And commitment can feel scary. What feels scary about it, though? Just like any fear, there's this aspect of the unknown. And when you commit to something now, you don't know what you're going to feel like in the future. And so by committing to something now, it's like you're putting that future self on the hook, and you don't know how they're going to feel. You don't know what's going to be different in their life. So as you are thinking of things that you want to be consistent with, remember that in this process of commitment, I think one of the most important parts is recommitment. Recommitment. And that's because you're going to mess up. You're gonna mess up. You know, I say mess up without judgment, but you're gonna fall off the wagon in whatever kind of way. If it's something that feels challenging for you to be consistent with, just accept from the beginning that you're not going to be able to be 100% perfectly consistent with it. You are not a robot. You are not a machine. You are a person who needs to give yourself space to feel into what's happening for yourself in that moment. And if you notice that you get away from the thing that you said you want to commit to, recommit. You can recommit. Find what will work. Keep coming back again and again to that thing. That's what consistency is about. It's not about, oh, you do it every single day. That's one kind of consistency. But anything that you keep coming back to, that's a form of consistency. And you can feel proud of yourself for that, even if it's not every day or as much as you think it should be. Recognize that you are still building that consistency, that you're building that sense of commitment to yourself each time that you show up in that way. And if you notice that you're not being as consistent with something as you think you'd like to be, recognize that that is information for you. It's like data about what's working. You are like the head research scientist of your life. And everything you do and everything you notice that you don't do is also information for you to test out. Like, okay, what do I want? How can I set myself up for doing what I want? Did I think I want that? But now that I'm trying it, I can see I actually don't want that. Explore these different possibilities for yourself of what it means. Don't just think that if you're not being as consistent with something as you like to, that it's something to blame yourself for. Maybe you just need to make some adjustments to support yourself so that that thing feels easier or more natural or whatever. Give yourself the space to keep learning, keep adjusting. Like maybe you say you want to meditate every day, but you tried doing that for 20 minutes and you hated it. You were just like, I hate this. This sucks. Try it for 2 minutes instead of 20. Change up the experiment. Make things feel more possible for yourself. This is what I have found to be one of the major keys to consistency is change the scope of what you're attempting to do so that it feels possible from where you are now. And then you can keep building from there. And if you notice that you're not being as consistent with something as you'd like to be, and you really feel you want to be more consistent with that thing, tune into why. Connect with why it really matters to you. Okay, here's a personal example. Something that I want to be consistent with is eating vegetables. You gotta like eat your vegetables, right? Well, sometimes I can struggle with that. Sometimes maybe the only vegetable that I eat in a day is like French fries. And I don't want to judge myself or like make myself guilty for that, but I do want to support myself to feel good in my body. And I know I feel better when I'm fueling my body with vegetables, that everything just works a little better. So I tune into why I really want to eat more vegetables because I want to fuel my body well. And I'm a grown up and I can eat vegetables. I don't need to be like a little kid like, I don't want vegetables. That part exists within me and I can be kind to that part, but I don't need to let that inner child part of me that's like, I don't want my vegetables to be running the show here, right? I want to set myself up for a good future in my body. I want to set myself up for like good days. And I know that for me, part of what that means is eating vegetables. So, even saying all of this about how I want to be a grown up and take good care of myself, that's great. But I also already know that there are going to be some days when I just don't eat veggies and I can let that be okay. Just like I know that there are also going to be some days when I don't do my yoga practice or I don't play ukulele, even though in theory I would like to be doing those things every day. But I also know that that's just not how it works out all the time. Sometimes I don't want to do those things, and I can give myself the space to know that I'm going to come back to it. This is where the recommitment comes in. It's like just because you miss something one day, that doesn't mean you need to beat yourself up. You can always get back to doing that thing again. Remember that. Find ways to support yourself, to keep coming back to the things that you say you want to do. And let yourself recommit if you miss a day or two, or even if you miss a week or a month, you can always come back again. Because the thing about letting go of the idea of what you should be doing, when you let go of that should, it's like you wipe your inner credit report of that debt. Like, just not even there anymore. You don't owe shit. You're free and clear. You can let yourself be free. You can let yourself be free from the idea of the things you should be doing, but that you're not. And you can start taking all of that energy that goes into what you should be doing, because that takes up a lot of energy, feeling all of that guilt or blaming yourself. It takes up mental energy. So let that go and instead focus on what you want to do and how you want to invest that energy into your future. It's a subtle shift, but it makes such a difference in how your life feels and how it feels to do different things. Because everything you do is building towards the future that you are creating for yourself through the actions that you take now. Each action that you take now is like an investment in the future that you want for yourself. And if you're still watching, then I know you're someone who has already been working to create the future you want for yourself, to create the life that you want for yourself. And I admire you so much for that, seriously, because I know how hard it is to stay hopeful and to stay focused on how you want to grow as a person when there's so much from every other direction trying to pull your attention in different ways. And I want to remind you that you're not alone in that. And if you want to talk about this kind of stuff together with me and a group of people who are also committed to doing this kind of work, to thinking about what they really want in life and finding practical ways to make it happen, while also not taking it so seriously. Like, oh my God, can we have a little fun with it too? Because otherwise, what are we doing? Let's have fun in the process so that we can build more fun into our lives in general too, right? If you want that, if you vibe with that, check out Whole Last Person. We are having calls once a week where we're talking about stuff like this together. And you can ask questions about how to apply these concepts to your specific situation. And I'll do my best to give you an answer. Also, other people in the group are really cool and have great ideas. So it's so powerful to be in a group of people who are thinking in these ways and want to support each other. And it would be awesome to have you in there too. So check it out. Find the link in the description. Well, you can find it and join the group. Love to have you in there. It's going to be awesome to get to connect more than just on YouTube. I love getting to talk with you like this, but come in the group and we can open up the conversation. Plus, aside from just talking about these kinds of ideas, we're also building them into our bodies. We're doing movements to feel good in your body, because that is part of what is going on here, is being in a body. It's super chill, nothing strenuous. You don't need a yoga mat or anything, just some movements to help connect to your body. And aside from the movements, we've also got more resources for you to dig deeper into how you want to spend your time, what you really want, how to get more clear on what you really want, because that's such a big question. Come and explore it with us. We can figure it out together along the way, because it is always changing, the answer to that question, because you're always changing too. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching this whole thing. If you're still here, make sure to like the video. Come on, give it a like, subscribe for more. We've got more coming. I'm working on being more consistent with posting these videos too. So we'll see how that goes. You know, I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. Lots of space for permission to just exist and know that I'm doing my best. But I want to keep showing up here for you to keep this conversation going. So watch out for more. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.